welcome to Unifier TV, where truth has no fear. All right, look, what would you do if you were married to someone for 21 years and at some point along the way they decided that you weren't the one for them? There's actually a part one to this, and I couldn't find it. Anton Daniels actually did reaction to the first one. I'll actually link it in the description, but I found the second one and it's just as interesting.
So the reason I titled the video How to Leave a Good Man or Leaving a Good Man, whatever it was, is because I wanted just to, I guess, explain that you don't have to be a bad person for a relationship to end.
No doubt about that. You definitely don't have to be a bad person, but you do have to be an honest person. If the person didn't do anything wrong and you're just not fit for each other, first of all, you should have known that well before 21 years went by. And maybe she did, but at the same time, you should have been honest with yourself and him so you guys can go ahead and move on to other people. So if you read this title, though, I was waiting on my husband to give me a reason society would approve of before ending a marriage. How about just being honest? Whatever happened to that? So apparently, that's too much to ask in 2025.
And I was stuck with someone for a very long time who I no longer was compatible with. Just because he's a good man, a good person.
Just because? And you weren't stuck, you weren't honest. How do you know that he would have wanted to hold on after you told him everything you felt? Me personally, I wouldn't hold on. If you told me after all that time, everything we put together, everything we built together was just you having a change of heart and I didn't do anything wrong, it's gonna hurt, but cool. I can move on with a clean conscience, know that I did nothing to you. But for you to say you're stuck and then say just because he was a good man, there is no just because. A lot of women would have loved to probably have a guy it seems like he treated you right, did everything you wanted him to do. So it seems like it just wasn't enough. So I don't know what she was looking for, but let's see if she says.
Person. I'm a good woman. I'm a good person. But I wasn't happy in the relationship, guys. Don't come for me. Or come for me if you want to, because I know a lot of people are still in unhappy relationships because they're stuck in their mind thinking that they owe this person something because of the time invested, because they're kids.
You kind of do. It's like you definitely owe that person something, and it's called honesty. It's called truth. It's called being upfront. It's called being an adult. You definitely owe that person something because I guarantee if the shoe were on the other foot, you have all these women in the comments, rah rah, girl, you should never have to go through that. I would take him to court for everything and make sure you get half of everything, if not all of everything. Make sure you get the house. Like imagine a dude telling this same story. It would be a totally different reaction. But there's enough reactions in here to talk about. Professional victim stories are crazy. Very much true. Twisted minds are a terrible thing. Every person with a twisted mind can find a way to make their bad decisions sound good, no matter how bad their decisions are or how many years of deceit they put on the other person. Very much true. People need to stop comparing their relationships with other people's relationships. Now, I don't know why. I don't know what that has to do with anything. And then she liked that as if that's maybe that's what she was doing, but that ew.
Because they care about what other people say. I was there. I was just like you. That's coming for me, telling me that I ain't shit because I put myself first, because I care about being happy. I do understand that happiness is an inside job for all those people saying that. Guess what? I'm inside myself, and I went inside and was like, hey, self, let's be happy. And guess what? I still wasn't happy with that man. I still wasn't in a relationship that felt good. I still wasn't fulfilled. I was playing the role as a wife. He was playing the role as a husband. And
You can't say the guy was playing a role. Did you even find out where he was emotionally, how he felt, or how did you leave him? What did you do to leave? You can't say he was playing a role. That was his role. Just because you were unhappy and you played a role and lied to this man for 21 years doesn't mean he was doing the same thing. See, here she is again trying to justify her position and her decision to do what she did, which was leave this man. And I don't know if they have kids or not. I think you can probably hear something in the background, but she is basically trying to talk herself into a reason, and she had none. And so it's actually pretty sad. I feel bad for the guy because it doesn't sound like there was any valid reason. And then she's on here on social media first. sounding apologetic or trying to explain, but then going talking herself into being justified, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
We just were not good together. It made sense for the relationship to end, regardless if he's a good man or not. That's my point. Why be miserable in a relationship? Why? Just because we spent so many years together, I owe him the rest of my life? Why? Why am I for the streets or a bad person because I ended the relationship?
See, this is the scary thing about how she is referring to her marriage. She keeps calling it a relationship. She's not calling it what it was, which is a marriage. A marriage and a relationship are two different things. But this also gives you a lot of insight on how she saw the relationship. She never respected it as a marriage. And you see a lot of people do that. And I'm not saying it's true for everybody, but you see a lot of people who refuse to change their last name. And I have reservations about that because it's like, okay, why not change your name, make it official, show your true love and commitment to this person? I mean, to me, when people refuse to change their last name, it almost hints at, I mean, are you unsure? If this ends, you don't want to do the paperwork or something? Because why not just go all the way? So I don't know. But she definitely strikes me as a type to not want to be tied down, to not want to have certain limitations and restrictions. I mean, she probably wants to live her best life, all that garbage, and maybe she is for the streets. But the fact that she keeps calling it a relationship and not a marriage, to me, is the big red flag. And you have to be careful about who you deal with. The unfortunate part is this man was led on for 21 years. My hope is that she gets nothing out of the deal. I hope she's not asking for anything out of the deal because she deserves nothing. Be aware of women like this because there are a lot of women out there who don't want to be tied down. But honestly, that's what marriage is. You're tied down. You have an obligation to someone to show up at a certain time at a respectable hour, to not go to certain places out of respect for that person, to let that person know what you're doing and where you are, to not entertain other people. There are a lot of expectations, and yeah, you are tied down when you're married. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what a grown person does. That's what a respectable, honorable person does. You marry someone and you take what comes with it, which is honesty, love, trust, companionship, loyalty, and being submissive. And that maybe she's just not that person, but it's not this guy's fault. You made it clear that it wasn't his fault, but at the same time, you're trying to find reasons why you were justified and you are not. So, what are your thoughts on this? How do you guys feel about this situation? Is she right? Is she wrong? Did she wait too long to say something to him? How would you have ended a 21-year marriage, not a relationship, a marriage? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next one.